very heavily dungeon focused for the most part. Maybe something that breaks that convention a little bit and have to see, some overworld progression before. It's not just in the early game, but
I like
same
that.
Same as my race start yesterday. 300 at the beginning. It's really good. Because now you definitely don't worry about money. We see and I think it was a generic crystal desert.
I think I saw. I mean, we're gonna wait and see what the tracker did, but it looks like Eastern. Oh wow, it's a full crystal light world.
Yeah, so just three regular crystals for light world, right?
Oh yeah,
that's pretty good.
speaking of good, those 4 bomb drops coming from the tree and a moon pearl from the uncle. Now you said you wanted to see an unconventional seed. This is feeling pretty unconventional.
Yeah, there's well, show's over. I already have an item I don't want to see, but I'm not playing, so I just don't like them. That's the thing. Yeah, it's interesting because with the poultry stuff. Oh, and the flippers too. This is looking really familiar right now. Outside of that boomerang, that was bow. Yeah, I had the shovel and the bow for mine yesterday, but the flippers there and 300 at Link's house is exactly the same as what I had at the start. Catch is now you can't do Flipper's Houlihan, so if there's not enough money to do Zora, you need the glove before you can do that. So
I mean, imagine the situation. You're like, all right, I'm gonna go to Sanctuary. I'm gonna get that chest. I'm gonna do Houlihan room, and boom, flippers. You're like,
I have had that a few times. It's really annoying.
It's almost like that Twilight Zone of like, but we had a plan.
Yep.
Oh man, I'm loving this seed already. So we got full bombs, we got flippers, we got a moon pearl. I mean, and not the best boomerang, but I mean, I love the boomerang as an item. It's so useful.
I do like the concept of it. I just don't like it in this game. There are plenty of good boomerangs in Zelda, but I don't think LTTP's. That's just my.
You're feeling that the boomerang in Zelda 3's lacking. I mean,
a little bit, yeah.
I can feel you there. Ooh, that's interesting. eLmaGus choosing to, as he falls down, actually move up to check to see if the item is worth grabbing. Doesn't save a lot of time. It's about like 2 seconds, but like, I guess, I don't know. That could come into play. I mean, it's a piece of heart, but it's weird.
I've started doing that myself as well. Rather than just automatically moving down and getting the thing, is just take a very brief second to check it first, and then if it actually is worth it, for it. Here's one limitation of the boomerang: when it doesn't stun stuff, it takes 4 hits to kill it. So you see in zelgadissan already been trying to kill stuff with the boomerang, and it just ain't working out.
Ooh, a beautiful wind instrument in.
This is again. That's what happened with me yesterday as well. What is going on here?
Okay, GamerCal's a wizard.
What?
GamerCal is absolutely a wizard right now. At the beginning, I want to see a bit of an unconventional seed. So far, we've seen Pearl, flippers, flute, hookshot.
What is going on here? Oh boy.
Okay, can we get a confirmation that this is an actual V26 seed that's been handed out to our racers?
It is a sanctioned V26 seed. Yeah. Okay, so obviously the beginning here is pretty good. When do you go Death Mountain then?
I'd say immediately. I mean, you have the flute, you have the hookshot. I would probably go check library and the race, and then flute straight up to Death Mountain.
Okay.
Granted, you are kind of like, omitting a little bit of, checking, but like,
yeah.
eLmaGus having a little bit of trouble there with the flute activation, like getting it finally. But yeah, I was gonna say is like it kind of like it gives you a little bit of problems when you're trying to like get all the information in Death Mountain. Like without the hammer, you can't actually get over to Hera. But yeah, I mean Death Mountain, that's like 6 chests that you can check right away.
Yeah, yeah, there's 7 there, and then there's 1 in
Oh, yeah, that's
Spiral
right,
Cave
the-
as well.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see it. So it's kind of curious because that's one thing I've been looking at myself is just like how many trips you make mountain, because that could be quite a big deciding factor in a lot of races. Like if you make 4 trips up the mountain, 2 would suffice. You are wasting a lot of time, of course. So a lot of times I've been trying recently to put off the mountain as long as I can until I actually have like multiple things I can do up there. But flute and hookshot at the start, that's a pretty big deal. Zelga not happy with
absolutely.
what's in the chicken house there.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot with like V26 seeds. They kind of give tells. You know, the items that you get, they kind of like lead a certain way. So we've seen seeds that like gives you access into like mire, fairly early, and there's a required item in it, regardless if it's like pendant or crystal. It's kind of like where you go, and it looks like eLmaGus has a plan in mind. Gonna go head over the dam. Gonna clear out a little bit more of Light World to see if maybe finds the hammer. Just gets a little bit more money here, but well, that's interesting. He kicked kicked it down. I like that. I didn't really think of something that you could do that.
You got the clip I didn't get, which is good. But yeah, this is nice because now, as you say, you can hookshot straight down to that. But he decides not to. Okay, that's still fine. Looks like Zelda is following in eLmaGus' footsteps here a bit as well. This didn't get the clip, unfortunately, so he's gonna have to come back in with that.
I mean, it's good that our runners have a weapon. It makes checking this mini Moldorm cave a little bit easier. You don't have to wait so long for the bombs to line up. You can just kind of hookshot them over here. They are still a little bit tough to hit, though.
Especially if you try and hit them side on like this, because their movement is very unpredictable. Oh, that full magic would be nice to pick up.
Oh,
So
looks
there's
like
the second green rupee. We already had one in the trade here. Almost at the Zoro amount. Not quite though. That's a little bit unfortunate. There's one item. Oh, no, pick it up afterwards. Interesting. Okay. When you've got the hookshot just to get it straight away, I would have probably picked up the magic there, because you never know what you might win that.
Oh, what's this? Looks like eLmaGus is making a Zora check coming up here soon. A little bit short on money, but I'm wondering if he's betting on getting some money from either Zora drops. Hope he doesn't try to. Oh, well, never mind. Finds $20 in there and just like
Lucky
boom.
enough.
You know what?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, if it works, it works. Yeah, a little bit fortunate, but sometimes that's what you do these things.
Looks like where's Zelda going? Are we gonna finally see the a little bit of deviation here?
A little bit. Maybe just flipping over for Ice Rod Cave.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that is still a little bit quicker than just walking the way across, I think.
Oh yeah. Same thing goes with going back. So if you don't have any boots, right after you finish the Ice Rod Cave, if you flute to 8, like if you were going to set up for a fake flippers, it's definitely faster for movement.
Yeah. Shame he doesn't have the boots to do the water walk that I managed to get yesterday. That was quite entertaining. Oh, the life lesson trade.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's pretty good. Okay, so Ice Rod Cave had the 20 anyway, so, you know, that's not too bad seeing that, but it's going to be a bit of a painful lesson.
Let's see. Here comes the Death Mountain play.
Yep. So this is a little bit tricky to do without a sword, doing this place in the dark, because it can be a little bit awkward trying to work out exactly where you are. But it's not too bad, it really isn't, because it's quite a area, but at the same time there is a pit you can fall in, so you just gotta be a little bit careful.
The hookshot's not a bad choice to use. Boomerang is also good as well, because it'll bounce off the walls. It'll kind of give you a little bit of a quicker idea of where you are. But I mean, given that our racers have the red boomerang, it doesn't exactly help. But yeah,
is this even randomized?
with wow, already a sword from eLmaGus.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
And Hobo's given us a bottle. That's good too. Able to check Sick Kid. That will complete Kakariko.
It's a nice, quick flute spot to go back to as well. So, oh no!
eLmaGus in danger here.
Uh-oh. Okay, should be all right now. Just don't get jumped on, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, there's a couple of hearts underneath the pots that he's coming up on right now.
Yeah, and the so-called Paradox Cave. Everybody always asks, why is it a Paradox? Because this lower entrance he's just gone in is the upper floor of this cave. The exit that you can see on the screen now is actually the lower floor of the cave, which is the upper entrance outside. It's super dumb.
I mean, they did their best with what they got. I mean, we can't really blame the developers so much.
I'm not really blaming them. It's just it's hilarious design.
Oh, absolutely.
We're really cutting this close here, eLmaGus. You're all the beef, and it's a lot more money.
Not even gonna pick up the rupee.
Oh, the hammer. Okay.
That is insane.
Half magic. Oh, so again, not locked out per se, but the fact if you got half magic, refilling that there kind of negates the need to have picked up that one. Well done.
Okay, can we talk about how crazy this is? The fact that heads up here and decides to
get splatted.
die, but but no, heads up here and then finds the hammer leading our runner to Hera. I mean, outside of the fire requirement, we have a crystal to be able to pick up at a little over 10 minutes in.
Yeah. It's a little bit unfortunate that he got splatted there, because otherwise he'd have been in a great spot for it. Oh, the powder again. That's a really interesting find there.
Let's see. Powder so early, hammer so early. Does the magic bat have an item?
Maybe. eLmaGus, where are you going? Wouldn't you do this after? I suppose if you're gonna do that's in spiral, yeah, right. So.
I mean, it's a little bit of information. If you're gonna go to Hera, you kind of want to check Spiral Cave afterwards, because you'd have to make the checkups here. So, I mean,
I guess I'm just surprised he didn't do this first. Is the thing for that? Because I don't know. It's everybody's got their own way of doing these things, and I don't really know which way is fastest. But
that was dangerous. eLmaGus almost landed himself in that little pocket where you can't escape from unless you have a lift upgrade.
We saw that in the last tourney, didn't we? Where somebody actually got stuck in there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I imagine there's been a lot of people that have done it once and just like, nope, I'm gonna, as I jump off this ledge, I'm gonna move a little bit more to the right than previously.
So it's kind of interesting to me to come up here before checking stuff like the Sahashala Cave and stuff, because you're thinking maybe, go get your heals, Zelga. You're not surviving through that.
Yeah, Death Mountain was not being nice.
You'd be thinking maybe try and get the lamp, especially with the sword ended up being there, implies that you're supposed to have the lamp at some point soon, maybe, to get that. It could still be pretty much anywhere, but it's interesting that, coming up here without a fire source, kind of dangerous.
It could be. Oh, and there's a fire source in here. This seat is a complete gimme. This seat's a complete gimme.
This is sort of implying that the lamp is easy to get to.
But I mean, let's take into consideration what you said before. Before eLmaGus found the
basement required as well. Are you serious? What is going on here?
Yeah. I mean, you kind of got to go where the seed takes you. I don't blame either of our runners for making this decision. While I do kind of want our runners to make separate decisions, it gives us a little bit more information as commentary to kind of like think of, all right, where's the next play? Where does the seed want them to go? But I mean, a flute, a hook shot, and then a hammer so early, and Zelga's gonna have a little bit more like insight because it has the powder.
Yeah.
So I mean, that could be something that Zelda could choose to do before Hera. That could give a little bit more of a I don't know, a little bit more information, a little bit more like an earlier check. eLmaGus could have to turn this up later. Who knows, man?
Yeah, so when I say sequence break most stuff here, the sword is the part that was sequence broke. Everything else that they've picked up so far is within the logic of the seed. The hookshot was picked up in Kakariko, the hammer was picked up on East Step Mountain, the flute was also Kakariko, so with the flute you're able to get up here without going through the cave to the old man. So
Yeah.
it is specifically the sword which was sequence broken. But
Yeah.
the fact of that being a sword and 3 swords being required by the logic to the game, that would be one of them that you would pick up pretty early. So it sort of implied that the lamp would be accessible. And I didn't think it'd be that accessible, but...
Oh, yeah.
You know.
I mean, like, so far the logic of the seed looks like you'd come up here, you'd be able to defeat the boss with the hammer, and then you go check the old man and get your sword.
Yeah. Oh, and the bow as well! Are you for real? What is this?
I am super jealous of this seed. I can't, like...
Right? What is going on here?
Every time I've touched the 26 seed, it's been like 100% completion, and like there's just been like these nightmare items, and this is a straight up like hype gimme seed. Now here's the crazy thing: our runners have to be freaking out because every place they've gone, it's just been like, here's a hammer, here's some hook shots, here's a bow, here's a lamp, and you're just like, all right, hold on, wait, don't get too excited. This is still 26, but like, what's gonna be that last thing? And
right?
if this turns out to be Turtle Rock required, which is looking much less likely, I mean, as there's 3 pendants inside Dark World, we could see a pendant Turtle Rock pendant Mire kind of situation where Samaria isn't even really required as long as they don't need to get to right side of Ganon's Tower, which could cut out a lot of items as well as the Ice Rod. So I mean, insane free seed? Maybe? But this is definitely what you were looking for, an unconventional 26 seed.
Yeah, I will admit, I did want something that broke conventions. I didn't quite expect it to be this extreme, but, that's part of the fun of it. And, yeah, this would probably be a seed where I would get hurt quite badly, because I wouldn't want to come up here until I had something else to go with. I would have been looking for that lamp down at Sahasrara, maybe down at Eastern or something, and that would have been quite painful. But yeah, following the way this is going, by just coming up here with that hook shot, as you mentioned before, definitely worked out as the better play, and I'm glad that both players went for it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Seems interesting.
As a runner of like rando as yourself, like you can't help but like. I think this was planned.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait, he did get the key for this. So
yeah. But all I was gonna say is like, you can't help but like kind of project your planning on a seat, like where you're gonna go, because you do this stuff too. And you can't help it whenever you see something like this. So it's interesting that there are still seeds like this in 26, as we've seen, like, the stereotype of Skullwoods always having something, but we've seen a lot of seeds where Skullwoods had nothing, but Mire had everything.
Yes, like my race yesterday. Fire and Ice Rod in Misery Mire for that nice blue mail though. Oh,
okay. Sahasrara, maybe not that bad of a choice. I mean, that blue mail early on. Not too shabby.
Not at all. So we're obviously still looking for the Moon Pearl and one glove before we get into Dark World here. So hopefully we find that. But with Lamp, with a sword so far, and Flipper's Moon Pearl, we could very easily see either the cape or a second sword here. And then the only real option, apart from getting whatever magic bat has, the only real option would be Aga. That is still a possibility. This is V26 after all.
I kind of want to see that. Like, not gonna lie, I kind of want to see a book and boots to lead them to desert, and then that's where they get their second sword, and like they're like, oh well, I have all this stuff, but like I can't get to Dark World, and they have to go through Aga to get to Dark World, and that's where the lift upgrade is on the pyramid.
Yeah, so that would be interesting because you still basically have completed every Light World dungeon before going. That's very rare in its own right. If you're able to complete every Light World dungeon. Fortunately, just past the upgrade so far, so too great as Zelda did finish up in Hera as well, getting everything there. Just gonna do once again the same thing that eLmaGus did. Check the floating island, see what's on the top there, and get the Spiral Cave item. I don't think Zelda actually checked the Spectacle Rock, right?
Zelda just did check Spectacle Rock not too early ago. But see,
did he go up first and then?
Yeah, he went up first, and then he went over. But here's something interesting. We see eLmaGus heading over to Eastern, which is not a bad idea. Gonna get a crystal here. Zelda probably gonna head over there soon, but I'm thinking that there's gonna be need to be an escape play here soon. I mean, you have a sword, you have a light source, and really escape doesn't really require too much to hold important items.
No. My hope before committing to escape would be to find a mirror, though. Or at least a boost to get back, because that would be a significant time saver to find that. Especially if you're thinking that Aga is required anyway, because then escape makes a great last-ditch play, where you've checked everything else and escape is the only thing you got left, but if you've got the mirror, then you can just go back to the start and go to Aga 1 there. You don't have to save quit other places. So I'd hope for that first, especially because Blue Mail will stop the players from really taking advantage of death warping too much. Just a blue rupee in the big chest here.
Yeah, I do believe that is the second item that we found. 10 arrows and a blue rupee so far.
Yeah.
Let's see, this is interesting. eLmaGus is not going to the final chest. Already has the big key, so able to move on forward. But gambling that Armos Knights has it.
Interesting. I actually, for some reason, thought that he'd already gone round there. But there was 3 bombs. Well, okay, so yeah, he must have just gone round, got the big key from Vanilla Spot, and then so 3 bombs, a 10-hour upgrade, and 5 rupees. Because I did see the compasses left thing, so taking
my apologies.
Just that's fine.
Alright, well, Eastern Palace, nothing except for a crystal for our runners, so while it's still good to gather crystals while you can, if Pod is a crystal, maybe checking some more overworld locations could have been a better routing decision? I don't know.
Possibly, but without the mirror, you kind of think that, I can't do both together anyway, so I don't know. It's possible that could still have happened, but
you know what's interesting? While both of our runners were up in Death Mountain, neither of them went into the Dark World portal, at least just to see what the rest of the crystals are.
Oh yeah, yeah. I suppose because of the way the Bounty did things. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I kind of would have done that. If you're already up there and you know that getting the sword was a sequence break, at least checking to see, because Light World didn't have any of your 5 or 6 crystals, and it didn't have any of your pendants, so it would allow a little bit more information for our runners to kind of plan out the scene.
So how would you have done the whole Spectacle Rock and Spiral Cave situation? Would you have done Spiral Cave before Hera, and then check Spectacle Rock, and then go to the Dark World portal?
I would have gone, I would have followed with what the seed wanted, so I would have fluted, and then I would have sequence broke, gotten my sword. I would have gone over to exactly the same way that eLmaGus did, except for I would have hammered over to Hera, and then checked Spiral Cave post-Hera.
Okay.
Save and quit, restarted the Mountain Cave, go up, check Spectacle Rock, Spectacle Cave, and then hit the mirrors or the Dark World portal and get my Dark World information before saving, quitting, and going to either Sanctuary or Zelda's house, or Link's house.
Right. Okay.
Link is not Zelda.
As much as you might like to think that sometimes. This is not the Legend of Link, unfortunately. Yeah, no, that's definitely an interesting way around to do it. Because the only other consideration being to do the Spiral Cave before doing Hera, and then drop down from Hera to check Spectacle Rock, check the stuff from Hera. That's the only other thing. Yeah, eLmaGus has not yet done Hobo, so gonna go and check that first. Especially when you're only one item away from Dark World access, you really don't want to do Aga until you have to. So I do not blame him at all for this run here. Getting stuck a little bit on the side there. Swimming is finicky in this game. It really is.
I'm thinking with how much Light World they have left to them, Powder is going to lead him to something, whether that's a sword upgrade or a cape or the glove or Sick Kid.
Yeah, this is convenient for eLmaGus too, because having picked up the bottle here, he has a reason to go back to Kakariko other than just one item. He can do Sick Kid and a Magic Bat now, so much more incentive to actually go here. That's
beautiful 2-for-1. What's interesting is Zelga has already gotten the bottle, so I imagine right after Eastern, Zelga's going to be right after.
Yeah. So, yeah, even though Zelda looks decently, quote-unquote, behind at the moment, despite having done pretty much the same routing, he has checked a couple more, well, had checked a couple more of the world spots. So it's not like a massive difference, really. Because from here, Zelda, I believe, can just immediately to village, as you say, and has basically done all of the same stuff at that stage. So
yeah, I've always used like the term advantage, mainly just because like it's sometimes it's really hard to tell who is in the lead. But like whenever somebody gets like an item, it's always an advantage over the other one until it catches up. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, so bottle's nothing. That's nothing.
Escape is the only option.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, actually, does Zelda go ahead and do the stuff in Kakariko? Yes, indeed.
Oh yeah, again, got the bottle, got the hammer, and the powder, why would you not?
Yeah, exactly, and like I was saying, finding something like the mirror here, like even if you don't need it immediately, finding something like that here would definitely speed up the check that eLmaGus is about to do. So, you know, even that, when you've got the flute to fast travel everywhere, it's so much less painful than when you have to save quit all of this. So it makes a lot more sense to do
Saves
this
time
right
too. The only time that saving and quitting saves time over the flute is when you want to go to Sanctuary.
Yep.
There's the cape.
Yep. There we go.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, Aga play is definitely okay. So here's an interesting theory for you. All right. So let's say you went up to Hera, you got all that stuff, you took care of that, and then you left. But instead of going to Eastern, if you did like a Dark World check, would you ever like take into consideration your opponent? So let's say if you were racing either one of these, would you decide to go, all right, I'm gonna go to Escape first, and then if you got that, would you immediately go to Agadir?
So it's hard to say. I don't think I would want to skip out on Eastern. It's a crystal dungeon you complete. I don't think I would be able to, even if I was trying to take my opponent into account, I don't think I would in good faith be able to do that, just because of the way that dungeons seem to be so favored in this version. But I think what I've tried to do nowadays, if I get a sword or some other sort of weapon to do escape stuff, I try and do it early because I always forget to do it otherwise. And yeah, maybe getting the cape here, this is definitely going well. Aga is probably going to be a thing, right? So maybe at that point I would consider it. It's hard to say though.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to kind of get like a different opinion to see like what you would think, because I mean, I would 100% agree with you. I would always clear out a crystal thing, but I mean, there's always that odd side of me that's like, you know what? If I'm gonna make a gamble early on in the seed, the better.
That said, though, I don't think I would have done things quite as eLmaGus has done here, because he's just gone straight up here. Even though there is the small key in, could well be in the back of Escape that we might not be able to access yet. I would have probably still looked at that item and seen, if it is a small key, well, you've got, I think the map has not yet been picked up, so you've got 2 items in the back of Escape. If there wasn't the small key there, then chances are it is one of the items, so you might have gotten that one last item because that's really the thing here, is they are only missing glove to get into the Dark World itself, and it'd be a case of just try and take a look at that and see how you... Okay, you actually gotta be slightly careful with that now, so I'll get distracted a bit there. I know he's setting up for the Death Walk, but you gotta make sure that you don't actually die before you pick the chest up.
Now here's something interesting. eLmaGus heading up here, obviously gonna complete it. But if Zelda decides to go check that last chest, nope.
Oh.
All right. What if that chest? What if that chest is the lift upgrade?
Yep, that's exactly the way that I would think of it. It could well be. The only catch is that then you would have to save quit from there. Right? That's another, like, if you have the mirror, then I think that would be 100% check. But it's interesting because that could very well be the lift upgrade there, or it could be, something else which is needed. It could boots that could lead you to get stuff, or So it's interesting, really is, to see both players skip out on it. I mean, it isn't the fastest check in the world, but when you're only one item away from the Dark World, you kind of feel like, well, maybe I should check this.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, even a save and quit out to Sanctuary would allow you to check the back end of Escape, and then, like, if it were boots, I mean, there's still another kind of like, breadcrumb kind of a situation led to it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to say. Both of our runners are working with the information that they got. I just wish they were a little bit more. They deviated a little bit more from each other. But I mean, we're still only like 30 minutes in. There's still plenty of time for deviation depending on what this item is. If it's a book, we're obviously going to see desert coming up. But
Oh no!
Oh no!
Goodness!
Ooh, that's scary. For those of you that do not know, the version 1.0 ROM that the randomizer is based off of, version 1.0 of this game has a little bit of flaws with its advantages. So the advantages give you like spin speed, item dash, stuff like that, but there are some problems, such as if you are falling, you can still be hit by like fireballs picked up by wall masters. So it's scary. It's scary, and Zelda needs to be really careful here.
Oh goodness. Okay. I know we're not really paying attention to how many blue balls Aga's got here, but to be honest, I think we've got more important things in hand here. Please just do not die before we get to the pot here.
There's 2 hearts in this room.
There are.
Oh, nice. Getting those arrows in. Gotta be careful.
To get the arrow between the pot and the tile there, that was interesting.
A couple. It's in the same way that like how you can shoot the bow across the chest to hit the crystal switch and pod.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a couple of spots in the game dependent on the placement of like pots and chests where you can shoot it. So wow, pendant pod, pendant mire, green pendant swamp. Now, oof. That's
pendant
gross.
Pod is pretty bad when you've got the stuff immediately. There's Ken Samaria though.
But
apparently we've been told there's 6 blue Aga too. That's gonna be rough.
But pendant swamp, my friend, green pendant at that is gross.
I mean, you have bad memories of that.
You have flippers, you have hookshot, you have 2 parts that you need just in the mirror. eLmaGus definitely making that pod play. Can't blame him. Has the hammer, has the bow. So in the event needs to go all the way through, can absolutely do that. But I mean, with a green pendant swamp, how long do you put that off before you think, oh god, do I have to go through like this, 7-minute long dungeon especially longer without the boots, and just to clear this thing for maybe nothing.
I think that would probably be the last thing I would do on the Grand Loop. So I do agree with the power play, even though it is a pendant. Like, I do agree with the power play here because you can clear it, and this is probably your best chance to do so. It's rough when you don't have mirror. There's a couple of places that you really want to mirror back from, but still, there are a lot of items in here, and it could be very important for sure. But I think I would try and do this as like one grand counterclockwise loop here. So I would go up, once I've done this here, I'd go up, hookshot across, do Skullwood, Speedstown, loop back round, eventually get Hype Cave, and if I can do Swamp at that point, I would do it then. If I don't have anywhere else I can go.
Interesting. The scary thing is like if they don't have mirror, how much of the overworld do you try to like omit? You know, obviously you're not going to go the lower route because they don't have Titans, but I mean, would you still be willing to make a shovel or a dig spot check or a dig game check, I should specify, or Stump Kid before, you know, Sans Mirror?
Yeah, so I think if you're a really pendant averse player, then you could just use the hammer and go do Hype Cave and stuff like that just now. And then if you don't find anything, maybe then you consider doing pod or whatnot. But because of having access to that hookshot point already, if I was going to do that sort of check, I would do it on round 8. So maybe if you don't want to do pod now, maybe you would just want to do the hookshot point and then do all this stuff in Village of Outcasts, loop back round to do digging game and cave and stuff that way, and hammer back up to do pod. That would be another alternative that you could do.
I mean, I was definitely thinking that because it gives them more opportunities to check for the mirror. Obviously, we know that the mirror is going to be, or has a very likelihood of showing up somewhere here in Dark World. There's not too much that's restricting them from that location popping up here soon. The only thing that would kind of give me a little bit of an idea of where mirror could be is if they're picking up boots somewhere soon.
Yeah,
that would change a couple of things.
Yeah. But
Speaking of the thing, that's crazy. Wow, Pod just got a whole lot faster.
Yes, it did. Big key mirror. Okay. So this is one of those things. But I guess in this case, like I said, well, the Panda Pod is annoying, and this is why it's annoying, because it can have stuff.
All right.
But as it turns out, this was actually the way to go, and both players have taken it. Again, as much as we want to see some different routes and whatnot, so we can have more information, as you said before, it is nice that both players are still getting all of the advantages of that the others had here. There's no real, I guess with the DVH stuff, there's no real like way that they can get led off the trail that they're on right now.
Looks like eLmaGus was starting to set up there for a bomb jump, but decided to abandon that kind of a prospect. But yeah. I mean, I completely agree with you. Like, you know, with that stuff, I am definitely glad that they are starting to take these routes because it gives us a much closer race. But I think with the mirror found now, this is where we're going to start to see some true deviation. A lot of places are opened up. Gambles are going to start taking place. I mean, they have the means to get to Swamp if they wanted to take that gamble. They have the means to check more overworld locations. So I think now at this 40-minute mark, we're going to finally see deviation.
Okay, so I mentioned the way that I would do this before. Now that we've seen the mirror, how would you go about this?
I'd still go topside. You know, go check Quakefish, get that out of the way. And then, actually, no, sorry, they can't check Quakefish. I was thinking they had lifted grade. So hookshot over, I'd route up to go check the graveyard.
Yep.
As you can do that now. Head over, check to see what the bumper cave has. So when you obtain that lift upgrade, if there's anything useful there, they have the cape in order to pick it up. Do Thieves Refuge, head into Thieves Town and pick up your crystal, and then move on down towards dig spot and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how I would do that. That way you get your stump kid, that way you get your haunted grove overlooking item, hype cave, all that stuff.
So this is interesting. I think eLmaGus saw the I'm assuming Helmasaur with bony hand, map or compass here, and eLmaGus is saying this is probably not going to be a pedestal seat. There aren't that many of them percentage-wise, so I'm just not going to waste my time killing the boss here. And it's actually going south instead. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean, being able to save and quit in the Dark World is not a bad idea. If you're going to try to route up, because with the mirror you're going to be able to check a couple locations, but I think he's trying to go for the highest concentration of what's known as more troll locations. So Stump Kid, the lookout of the Sacred Grove, trying to get some more information that way. So let's see what Hype K's got for us today. A little bit of hype in chat, and
yeah, I think yes, single arrow. We can beat the game now. There you go. This is a sort of items per minute type play, I think. So going south first, you check 5 items really quickly. That is definitely.
Oh my! I don't mean to interrupt you, but is this an early swamp play?
Oh boy!
This is an early swamp play, my friends.
Oh boy! Now this, I don't think I would have done yet. This would be
brave.
This is brave. Even if it is green pendant,
Hold up. Let's consider how brave this is. All right. If the seed so far has led our racers up to Death Mountain, up to Hera, and then initially to escape to go to Aga, with all these items so far, it could be a false flag. Heading into Pod to get that mirror, this could be this seed finally taking that turn. And then depending on where Zelda decides to go, this could be the turning point.
And then see, Zelda is also leaving without killing Helmasaur, which is perfectly fine when there's no item there and it's not green pendant. Yeah, you can't flute in Dark World, Zelda. Sorry. Hate to inform you this. So it looks like they're gonna flute to if they're walking out.
I'm curious. Where are you going today, Zelda?
I really hope. Okay. Right, so basically the same thing that eLmaGus did, but without the save. A little bit of good knowledge on eLmaGus' side there. If you've killed Aghanim and you've got the mirror, then save quitting in Dark World puts you on top of the pyramid. Otherwise, it puts you on the Light World save spots. So, yeah, good knowledge from eLmaGus there. Yeah, I guess we still got to work out now. Where is he going? Nope, you're going down. You are going up. Yeah, so this is, I guess, the more conventional.
This is more your play.
Yeah.
What you want to do. Although this is interesting. Zelda forgetting that you can hammer down that peg.
Yeah, that's true. There's always a little bit of weirdness for that, isn't it? That you think, oh, I've got this one tool from here, I must use that.
Chad is happy for Divergence.
Yeah, it's only taken 43 minutes, but we finally, 44 almost, but we finally have some Divergence there. So, like I said, I think...
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. All I was going to say is we've only seen one item from Swamp right now.
Just get a bit confused as to where you need to go around. You need to cut the bushes here and go all the way around from there. You need to also not die. Don't take it. Oh
no!
Oh, that's painful.
At least dying in the Dark World is not bad, but it also looks like eLmaGus is having a little bit of trouble here.
I was about to say, yeah, speaking of nearly dying here. So this is one other thing with this here, though. Boomerang is quite... I didn't even know you could get a diagonal shot there. Level 1 sword is too small to hit that switch. It's the only reason you would ever need to switch items on the hookshot in this dungeon. If you have, got like level 2 sword or whatever, you don't need to switch. But if you've only got fighter swords, you have to switch to something else to get that. Usually Cane Samaria is what I like to use for that, but then I didn't know the boomerang could get that. Maybe it does have a use after all. Who knows?
The red ring it's a little bit more trickier to get that hit with the red boomerang. The blue one, since it moves slower, you can throw it and you can move down far enough so that way it'll go there.
That makes sense.
Here we go.
So, round 2, we're getting... And it looks like eLmaGus has picked a couple of hearts from here, so that's quite... So this could turn out pretty great if something like the Pegasus boots are on this sledge here. That would be really awesome for Zelda.
Oh yeah, or something such as like a fire rod to point him towards Skull Woods.
Fire rod would be fun, definitely.
Maybe a book.
No,
10 arrows is
none of
also
those
good.
things. Yeah, 10 arrows works, right?
10 arrows would allow Zelda to shoot at least 10 things. Some things multiple times.
That's painful, but yeah, you can sort of see the way that eLmaGus has done this is very much a density play, that he's checking the largest number of things. Oh, nice vanilla key. The largest number of items in the shortest sort of time is the way that he's gone for this. So even though this is back-to-back pendant checks, it is still getting a lot of stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Whereas
and the green pendant, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, finish.
I was going to say, whereas Zelga's playing, it's fine. Zelga's play might be more sort of conventional, going, well, nice sword is pretty good. Zelga's play is more sort of conventional, can't get it because no lift though. Oh, speaking of swords!
So here's something crazy too. As we know, Swamp Palace has 6 items in here. The green pendant increases it to 7, so as you said, this is definitely a density sword, so we know where 3 swords are right now. And as far as the logic goes, that's it. That's all you need to find for these kind of seeds. The seed will never really require you to do a Master Sword Ganon. It will seem that way, but the swords will always, at least 3 swords will always be accessible to you without necessarily doing a pedestal seed. So yeah, that's crazy. It looks like eLmaGus has already found 4 out of 6 items here. 5? Ooh, we might see a full clear. And then Zelda found the fire shield here. That's 1 of 2 items inside Skull Woods.
It's not too bad of a start. At least getting the items early means you can move on if you do get them both. Yeah, so it's it's interesting because Zelda couldn't get his sword because no glove upgrade. But yeah, it's like he's checking, like not checking the pendant dungeon here. It feels better, right? Because you're not going into a pendant, and if there's nothing there at all, then pendant dungeon's a big old waste of time. You want to do that, but
oh yeah. At
the same time, in this case, like something maybe I need to consider a little bit more sometimes. There is a ton of items here, and vanilla big key's actually alright there. Then you can at least check the chest. Don't have to go back up after Moth. But yeah, get distracted.
Oh, there's just so much now because before we had to like kind of make up time for them not like diverting. So yeah, we got to see what they were finding, but it was pretty much like first come first serve kind of a situation. I think eLmaGus is probably really happy that he doesn't have to try to shoot or spin only Argus here.
Well, at least there's the second item, Skullwood, so you know that this is just for that crystal now.
Alright, so let's see.
So, was it
swamp?
only the sword then?
Yeah, only the sword and swamp. So I kind of call that a false flag. The sword kind of, yeah. I mean, we'll have to just wait and see what green pendant gets us. eLmaGus probably is going to give us that information coming up here shortly.
Yeah, because it's almost guaranteed. gloves to get to Village of Outcasts.
Well,
That
that's
is the other
interesting.
sort of disadvantage of doing it this way around, isn't it? Is that, well, you have to even go all the way around anyway. So
Oh yeah.
that, like, it gives you more items now, but it also increases the amount of backtracking in a way that you would have to do, because you're still going to have to walk up to the hookshot spot and have to go from there, unless he finds a glove here. And even then,
Yeah, unless a glove is in here, we're gonna see an early small key, because there's gonna be no way for them to.
ooh, silvers.
Yeah, there's gonna be no way for them to lift that block to go pick up the maiden, without an early key.
Yeah. So Zelda getting silvers at the start of Thieves Town here, whereas
There it is.
red mail from Stumpy. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, extra protection. eLmaGus is definitely getting a little bit more love in this seed, despite the fact that he skipped that. Oh, there it is.
Oh no. Okay, so Southside definitely has had its advantages here, because the other thing is now with that glove, you know that eLmaGus will pick up 10 swords up to Bumper Cave. That is something Zelda couldn't even get the sword there yet, and will likely want to backtrack up for that. Bombos is interesting. So we're just missing Eva now in terms of medallions for required stuff.
But yeah, I mean that's just one of the lift upgrades. We could very soon see another lift upgrade coming here quickly.
If the Titansmith is here as well, that is going to be ridiculous.
One right after another would be really, really insane in a seed like this.
Nope. Okay, so, but that's still a good result for eLmaGus. Getting the glove there means that now the mirror flute option will straight in from the Lostwood side to go to Village of Outcasts is good, and that way you can sort of, well, where are you going? Oh, check the green pendant, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You definitely want to turn that in as quickly as possible.
When you've done both of the dungeons here, yeah, that makes sense.
But I also like this play too. With the glove in hand and going into light world, going to be able to use that flute to maneuver around light world to get to your dark world portals quicker. So he'll be able to like check this and then head over to Kakariko Village and then probably straight over to where Zelda is right now.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Just a bust.
Looks like Swamp was relatively useless. I don't think the sword was worth all the time that was spent in there. Overall, like even the difference between Master Sword and Tempered Sword, as big as it is, I think full clearing Swamp is bigger than that. So the glove is great. Don't get me wrong. The glove is definitely very strong to get, but I don't think Swamp as a whole was actually a time save here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Zelda, after completing this dungeon, is more likely going to go south, check that location, and then going to be able to, head up to the Bumper Cave, pick up that sword upgrade, and then it'll be just much less time that eLmaGus versus eLmaGus, which could be an advantage depending on where Zelda decides to go afterwards.
Just a red poopy there. Alright, this is where we find out Titansmith is in sewers. Come on, I believe. Because neither player checked it beforehand. I believe. I just want it because it would be funny. I don't necessarily want it. Oh, just about. Yeah, okay, so a little bit of forgetfulness almost on that then. The map being there.
Kind of on both of our cases, because I completely forgot about killing the enemies in Thieves Town. That way it gets you around that little
Yep.
Then and then we didn't count the items in escape, so we didn't see the map coming on that one.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd seen the map beforehand, so I figured it'd be like 2 items in the map in the back of escape if the small key was in where the map was this time.
Yeah, but, I think we were just kind of like we're all in the moment with like the whole theorizing.
Yeah.
So like while they were both in escape, we just kind of like it just omitted our minds.
Yep. Blind. Something else. They really are. I mean, more do need to be added, but still, the blind puns are still something else.
I think one of my favorite ones is I haven't been to the eye doctor in years.
Yeah. I think the funny, like, matter-of-fact one is the Maya requires either Pompous or Quake, you know, is the well, yeah, duh. Sort of
Oh yeah.
it's quite natural.
Short anecdote. I actually thought that was a seed hint, and I know. It sounds so bad, but like I got trolled by Blind really badly, and I went into Meyer, and I was like, Blind told me there's something here, and like the whole time I'm theorizing it over and over, and like chat's like looking at me like they can't give me hints because it's been erased, and at the end of it, like everybody's just like, no, you misread Blind, you're being silly. He's saying that Meyer requires either Bombos or Quake, as in like those are the only 3 medallions that could be there. And I was like, oh no. So never made that mistake ever again. But yeah, funny things happen in these seeds when you're pushing for that win. You put the blinders on.
It is really interesting. I know exactly what you mean. Like, it's very easy just to get distracted by stuff as well. No matter, you know, like even just thinking yesterday of the race I was doing. Now, there's a couple of times where I opened chest or went in the wrong direction because I just was distracted by other things I was thinking of at the time, and it's very easy for that to happen when you're not trying to talk over your own seed and whatnot.
Same thing comes with like counting items. Sometimes you're in a place and like you've picked up so many, like this happens a lot to people in pod, at least in like the very beginning of like these like the learning of this. You miscount how many keys you have, and so you end up like going into a place for a key. Oh man, I guess I was in trouble. You got it this time.
Good job. Heck yeah.
Alright, so here is Zelda about to get that lift upgrade.
Yeah, so this is good. I want to say he's probably still a swamp afterwards, to be honest, but with the way this is at the moment, yeah, definitely nice to get that just now. Question is, where does that actually take you? And I think there's only one place, right, that regular gloves can take us that we haven't gone.
Where would you say?
Catfish.
I was also thinking Spike Cave.
That too, yeah. I guess because you've got the cape, that is also logic, right? Yeah. Okay, so there's 2 places you can go with that. Definitely one of those 2, I think, has to have something else to keep it going.
Ooh, eLmaGus almost fell there. It's a little bit tricky. You have to maintain that left hold.
Yeah.
After you pick up that pot.
It's a lovely tempered sword for him. Gotta make sure you don't get completely destroyed by the birds here.
We've seen a lot of close calls here. A lot of like down to 1 heart kind of moments.
I love the hookshot stunning on that guy. Just seeing the spear moblin about to throw the thing, and then the hookshot just stuns him in place. He's still holding the spear. Don't know, just there's something satisfying about that. Disappointment Cave coming up here, but we do know it's required because the single arrow is here. So you definitely do have to go into this cave. So I think in Thieves Town, right, it was, other than Silvers, there really wasn't much else there either, was there?
Yeah, just in Silvers and the Crystal. Ain't too bad.
So I was thinking that Zelda was going to do the play in the swamp there, but no, apparently not. I guess it doesn't matter too much now because you've got Flute and all the other fun stuff with this. So now that you've got the glove to be able to use to teleport it at the one below Link's house, you can actually just get there whenever you want. So it would have been really bad if there was like no other access to it.
Bombos was also in there. Chat
Bombos
and Silvers.
Yeah, Bombos could actually, so I shouldn't discredit that.
So, all right.
Yeah,
looks like
Yeah, Zelda remembered the map.
Good stuff.
One step ahead of us. This is good though. eLmaGus here. If he dies early on, I'd almost take a death warp. Really
Yeah, I
early.
was gonna ask, would you take the death warp here? Zelda looks like he's going back in.
I'd get these two and then die to the horse head here. That way you just go straight up and you get the second two.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. So what do you think about Zelga's play there? Having to save quit, going into Sanctuary to get the couple of items, and then coming back for Swamp?
I
What do you think of
don't
that?
blame it. I definitely would have wanted to go pick up my Master Sword though.
That takes an awful long time to go around and get again, though, with where it is. Because even if without Titansmith, it's really annoying to get into the Dark World from that spot. Obviously, it's possible, but it's painful to have to walk all the way up, and then, go through the Skull Woods area, basically. Or if you don't do that, you got to cut the bushes without the boots, and yeah, it takes forever to get back up there. So I don't blame him leaving just now. That'd be something I'd consider if I didn't find the fourth sword.
That was interesting. He might have forgotten what Swamp Palace was, and open up his map, checking what it was. I don't know. I mean, at least if you go to check that, it does take a while, but it kind of puts you in that situation where you could mirror, go to Light World, check other locations. Probably Spike Cave is the last location on our runner's mind right now. It's probably there, but low priority. It's a long trek for one item.
Absolutely. I know I would probably do Catfish before I did Spike Cave. And that's saying something, because I do not want to do Catfish.
Yeah, Catfish could have something. They really can't do too much in Darkle Death Mountain post the Spike Cave, so maybe they're waiting for Mitts to show up before they make that play, because in that way it adds in locations like Hookshot Cave, Super Bunny, as well as checking to see what medallion you need for Totorock. Totorock being a crystal.
Oh, but that's just for the one thing on the reading side here. If you did Spike Cave first, because of the beating Aga having the mirror thing, your save quit would put you on top of the pyramid. So then, if you did Spike Cave first, you could save quit and then go to Catfish if the Spike Cave had nothing.
Ooh, I like that. I never really thought of that routing.
I know I've used that to go to Pod a couple of times after doing Spike Cave, but I've never thought about it for Catfish.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Because I've started to adapt the Houlihan strap for open, and because if you start in Sanctuary and then you go to the Houlihan room, as you exit Houlihan, it puts you right at Link's house, and you just go right in there and you check that chest. So that's why I've kind of adapted it, because it saves the save and quit in there, and you're still netting money that you can use for items. So wow. Yeah, thinking about that, checking the Spike Cave. If it's nothing, you save quit, you go up to check Catfish. That actually really. Oh no! Did Zelda? Oh no!
Okay, well, hopefully he realized this.
Yeah.
Don't save quit. Don't. No. What are you doing?
I think he's leaving. Oh man. You have to leave. You have to completely leave.
All right. So yes, you have to leave and reset the thing here. But PSA for those who do this: go get the 2 items first, then leave, then reset it. Because if you flood the key there, you can still get the items that are where the vanilla big key and stuff is. So you can still get those 2 items on the left-hand side. But now he's gonna have to flip that switch again. He's gonna have to get the key and then flip it. He could have gotten those 2 items.
He wouldn't be able to progress to the final area of the dungeon, so he would have been able to get the sword, but he would have left. Yeah.
But the point is now he's gonna have to re-flood that bit, and he's still gonna have to walk around. But what he could have done is he could have gotten those 2 items over there, then mirrored out, reset the stuff, and then when he's picking up the key, go from there.
These are the dangers of sequence breaking.
Yep, this is something which was not originally in the game. If this was done in vanilla, this is something that Randomizer fixed. If it was done in vanilla, then you would have completely locked your game up. There's no way that you'd be able to progress because water does not drain in vanilla. That is something which is a randomizer behavior, and it's specifically because of this situation that it did it like this.
Yeah. The only way that like you would ever be able to key lock yourself in this is if you were to EG.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like I'm not bashing. He's still gonna do this anyway. I'm not bashing on the way he's gone about this. Is just like because I've done this a few times before as well. But the realization is, if you just swim across and get the stuff over there anyway, you can save a little bit of face on that. At least get a little bit out of the situation, because he's still gonna have to go back and open those chests. See over there. So, yeah, a little bit of unfortunate thing of flooding it in the first place, but a little bit of I guess this is not a situation you expect to be in at all, so maybe a slight lack of awareness, I guess, is a way of putting it. I don't know. I like eLmaGus' video because he's got the yeah, I don't know how best to put it otherwise. Not very good at sugarcoating stuff, I guess. I like the way eLmaGus has done this here, because of having the and whatnot, just being able to go straight across this from here. That showing the strength of his south first definitely helps out.
Yeah, being able to. Sorry.
I was going to say the same thing, basically, being able to combine the Dark World stuff with Catfish, because this is such an out-of-the-way location, it's almost impossible to route it in the other way.
Gamer Cal's reading my mind. I mean, this is like probably the longest time we've ever hung out, and already we're on the same wavelength. Oh. It's crazy.
The red rupee.
So both of our fish have been given out red rupees. First King Zora, and now Quakefish, just tossing out those big 20s.
Yep, I think eLmaGus forgot about the whole Dark World warp mirror thing there, and because he could have just mirrored from Catfish instead, but I think he wanted to save quit and then start up here. Oh, 10 bucks, please.
He's just resetting.
Delete from the game. The two things, like, if I had my way, the two things to delete from the game would be those and the stupid skulls that appear when you're dashing through bushes and stuff in the Dark World, because they are so obnoxious. Just like you're minding your own business, you're just dashing along the bit before swamp. And,
now, Gamer Cal, do you know about like a trick that you can do with the hookshot and dead rocks?
Yeah, you can multi-hit them with the hookshot, right? So
as long as you're close enough to them, you can double push them.
Yeah.
Or if you just absolutely want them gone and you have powder, you just powder the little suckers.
You can also use Quake to do the same thing with that, and shake them off that way. Quake actually does have a couple of uses. No, it's generally pretty pointless. It can one-shot the penguins in Ice Palace, and it kills Wizrobes too, so...
I actually didn't know that it kills Wizrobes. I knew it killed the penguins, but not Wizrobes.
Yeah,
looks like
really
eLmaGus is making the Spike Cave play. Let's see what it is. I think it's going to be something. It's got to be something.
I'm pretty sure this is the last place he can go. So it has to be here. And Yep. So
wow, my kind of crazy idea to like to go up to Spike Cave.
It would have worked.
In this instance, yes. Like 90% of the time, it would have been like, "What are you doing? Here's a red rupee." Like, but I am sad now. That is crazy. That is an insane play. So like, what has this been? This has been, I'd say 70% overworld item placement.
Yeah.
Which is
I did ask for something unconventional.
Yeah, this is very uncouth of a 2016.
Well, speaking of sadness here, we're going to do Ice Palace without the Fire Rod and without boots. I think at this point, if we're getting Timesmith there, I would have probably wanted to look at the Maya area first, but that is simply because it's a couple of really good items you can get there.
Outside of the flooding of the key in Swamp Palace, Zelda has done most of the overworld stuff that eLmaGus has done. So we should be seeing Spike Cave here soon from Zelda.
Hopefully he does actually do that. Oh,
beautiful silver arrow shot from Zelda.
That is really difficult to do.
So that's good. That's actually going to help with the time. It's not as much, but eLmaGus did have to do like 4 spins to take down Argus, as well as the double slashes on. Oh no, wait, Zelda does that. Sorry, I mixed up the temper sword with that. But yeah, still, I mean, it's a little bit of time save, but it's nothing like super huge. But anything that Zelda can pick up right now is very much worth. Ooh.
How did not hit the switch there?
More importantly is how did that bomb stick on that corner there and not just fall down the hole?
Well, I think it's because there's one like edge pixel there that you can use for it. Oh, Zelga's gonna do catfish first, but that's fine. It's the more sensible play. It just like it's one of those again. Thinking of the nuances of having a save quit, Ganon killed stuff. It's not something you normally have to think about, but. There are a couple of occasions where... Wait, go on.
Turning in the green pendant. Zelda hasn't done that yet.
Why didn't he just do that through the light world?
I'm not sure.
That's why I'm confused. It's not necessarily that it's him turning it in.
I mean, at this point, I would have done it. I would have done it in the dark world, because you're going to have to dodge all these guards now.
Takes so long to get there for the Dark World, though. Because you gotta go around half the you gotta get up to the maze, right? I don't know. Where are you going now, Zelda? I guess he's using the portal to go for catfish.
Oh, I think I see. I've started to see this routing in Ice Palace a little bit more often. So you go there, you get the key, or you get the chest, but no matter what it is, if it's a big key or a small key, you still go back up. If it's a small key, obviously you walk across the door, but if it's a big key, or an item, you still go up this way to check these chests. So interesting.
I do this, but I do it with a bomb jump. It's quicker. But yes, this is what I do as well. I use the bomb jump to get across that gap and end up in the ice room where eLmaGus just was. And go from there. If I have a small key at that point, then I will use the small key on the door itself and go and get the one with the 2 jellies and whatnot. That's really annoying to get. If I don't have a small key, then I'll go up where eLmaGus is just now. But yeah, this is a very nice room. Like this quite a lot. So Zelda is going to get his disappointment soon, hopefully realize that the only place he really has left is the Spike Cave, and go from there. See, he does have the mirror out, so we'll be using the mirror flute, unlike what eLmaGus did here. So that's good. It's awkward to menu to that mirror right now, that flute even right now. There's nothing to really connect it mirror to flute. I'd even take the bug net right now to try and get it. That's how... What? Okay, I did not actually know that you could do that. That's an interesting hookshot grab on the edge there. I did not think that would let you walk across as well.
Yeah, it's one of those really weird spots like I was talking about with how you can shoot the arrow.
Yeah.
But it's like these little quirks that you kind of figure out in the randomizer, because ever since Randomizer Tournament in the spring, we've found 4 new bomb jumps. There's a new Ice Palace bomb. There's 2 Ice Palace bomb jumps that you can do that get you over areas if you don't have the hook shot. And then there's 2 in Death Mountain that you can utilize now as well.
Shameless plug, I have the video for that, and in the name of DT, we worked out the Spectacle Rock one. That looks impossible, but somehow still works anyway, even if it's 3 tiles. So
I think it's how how you move north to south in this game. as opposed to like left and right, because the Ice Palace bomb jump also looks really impossible given the length that Link has to go, as well as the Hammer Yump in Palace of Darkness. Like
The difference is all of those are 2-tile jumps, effectively, right? Whereas the Spectacle Rock one, you are going vertical tiles down, and it only really works because you get pushed in the wall a bit. Right. Anyway, Zelda having got his Titan now, distractions are plenty when you do these things, aren't there? Zelda is doing. Didn't get to see what that was. Go back over. I think it might have been Quake, but not that it matters too much because Eva was in Ice Palace, so every medallion has been found.
It looks like it is Quake, and there's the book.
Isn't that interesting? The book that you would normally get into desert with is locked by, Misery Maya area. That's funny.
Now that makes it interesting because the tablets could have something now. Because like you're not gonna need to go into desert vanilla. You're gonna be able to use the mirror to get in there. So yeah, this definitely makes it a little bit interesting. And then it looks like eLmaGus found the shovel and ice, and nothing for eLmaGus over here. So Zelda's finding some more information over here. Going to be able to check those tablets here. Going to check the ledge item, and then get into desert. Let's see if desert is boots locked. 50-50 shot.
Yeah, I do like the way that Zelda's done this. Although, at the same time, it's different. Would you do Maya before doing this? Because you could mirror from the Maya entrance to the main desert entrance. And then because you've got the flute, if you are locked out of this, you could just mirror back to the entrance there and just flute away. Crystals 5 and 6 on the eLmaGus side here. Let's see what this ends up yielding. And you are boots locked out, so no desert for now. Might be a bit of a heartbreaker if boots end up in Pyramid Fairy here. Zelda is not going to do Maya just now. Okay, not committing to the pendant play here, which is fine because you got a crystal you beat. So.
Oh man, horrible thought.
Oh god, here we go.
Boots and Meyer.
Yep. Yeah.
We've seen like medallions needed for entrance, like really close by. So like if you need like Quake for Meyer, and then you check the desert ledge and there's Quake.
So what are we looking at then? Boots in Maya for Fire Rod in desert?
Yeah, that would be pretty mean. Or a tablet. Boots in a tablet.
Boots in Hookshot Cave could also be a thing. Or this could be one of those really extreme seeds where Turtle Rock actually is accessible without using Fire Rod for stuff. Like there'd be 2 items over in the Fire Rod Torch Puzzle, and something like Laser Bridge has got the boots.
Oh man, what if Fire Rod's in that first chest? I've seen it before.
Yeah,
it's mean.
I have had Fire Rod on the Laser Bridge before. That is the most extreme example you can get, but it's definitely possible.
Fire Rod there, that would mean that first one has to be a small key. The first chest has to be a small key. Second chest has to be also a small key. You get a key from the Pokey.
Vanilla big key.
Yeah, you'd have to have a vanilla big key, and then the big chest would have to have a small key.
Yeah, there were 2 items over on that side where the Fire Rod was, where the Fire Rod is needed. So
that's so mean.
It's almost unheard of, like.
Because then that would mean that there's 2 items there behind the roller room.
Yep.
Ooh.
And that is almost never the case, but yeah. No, that was this version. That was V26. Problems can tell you all about it because he literally went to me because I won that race by about 17 minutes because I went in there pretty early. So He could tell you all about that one. Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't Ice Rod past the torch room. I would have been really, fits about that. Ice Rod was actually Palace of Darkness in the scene. Right. Yeah, well...
It's okay.
So eLmaGus is committing to the pendant play here. Well, it has picked up the other two, and we have not been able to see what the pendant is yet. So
well, one pendant dungeon was good for him. A second one wasn't. So he's.
Oh yeah, of course. I say has picked up the other two. Has gone in the other two. Neither player picked up helmets.
Ooh, there's that bomb jump from Zelda.
Yep. So that is
Ooh, nice dodge.
That is fantastic. Okay,
I am impressed.
I'm terrible at trying to use the momentum of the sword stuff, so I always get really leery when stuff like that comes up. But that was really nicely done. Fantastic job.
All right, let's see what Myers got. Only 2 items, so this could be a long check for 2 items. This could be a short check for 2 items.
It's just tough. You're like an hour and 20 minutes into the seed. You're still looking for both fire and ice rod.
I kind of want something to lead eLmaGus on a little bit of a breadcrumb trail. That would give Zelda time to catch up with some location checks here. Because I want to keep this race close. Because they're not too far off, but eLmaGus does have a full dungeon on Zelda.
What have you got in mind then?
Mushroom.
It's got to have the mushroom in it somewhere, hasn't it?
Yeah, mushroom here leads to Fire Rod. Fire Rod would lead him towards maybe Turtle Rock? Maybe taking that play so that way you can get... No, I'd go to Skullwoods.
Skullwoods, they've both gotten every item out of them. So they do need it for the crystal, but both items have been collected in Skullwoods.
Maybe something to Ice Rod, and then that way that leads them to go check Turtle Rock for a go mode fire and boots in Turtle Rock. This is tough.
I think if you're gonna put any sort of breadcrumb trail here, it's probably got to involve the boots if you want to go progression wise. Because even though, sure, that lets you clear a desert, that has a couple of other items associated with it, which should take a bit of time as well.
Yes, I do agree with you on that one. Because in that way, that leads towards desert, and so far what we've seen in desert is the red rupee, so that there could be nothing really of importance there.
Quick little thing from what's on eLmaGus' side at the moment, you actually don't need to push the second set before you do the lap here. You need to push the first set before you light them, but the second set you actually have time to push and light the torches in the same thing.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to be able to shoot the fire rod past the blocks. That's actually a in-game problem. Same thing with why the hook shot gives you immunity frames.
Okay.
There's something with it. I can't give you the specifics of it, but like there's something with the coding that wouldn't have allowed you to take damage while the hook shot was out. So that's why you get immunity frames when you're using the hook shot.
And we're all forever grateful for it.
Oh yeah, because like you are moving through things sometimes when you grab something, and like enemies will get in your way. So I think it's to kind of stop certain problems from happening. Alright, there's the big key.
Okay.
Now, I don't think we've seen still anything in Myers, so this is looking like a long...
item, yeah,
this is a long check. There's still 2 more chests and Vitreous that eLmaGus has to kind of get through.
Interesting from Zelda here that he seems a bit more comfortable using the hammer rather than the Master Sword here. Overall, like he switched to it now, but I know how long this takes with Master Sword only, so I can understand. Oh god.
Yeah. Maybe Zelga's a little bit familiar with low percent. Probably switched to the Master Sword to give him a little bit more range and comfortability because the hammer hitbox is really small.
Yeah.
Mushroom?
Oh, there's your mushroom!
Ooh.
I didn't see what was in the big chest, actually, but...
it looks like...
he's keeping on going, so I think that has to be an item at Beatrice here. This is a good place for a mushroom to grow, too.
I like that.
It's like there was secretly nothing in that chest, but it's so soggy here that there's a lot of mushrooms growing, so you just put one out of the chest. Going, well, I guess there was nothing else in here, I'm just gonna take one of these.
You think he's gonna like turn it into like the witch, and the witch is gonna be like, "This isn't the right mushroom."
Even that over. Where did you get this exotic species from?
I know, right? But since Link doesn't speak English, it would have just came off with like
chopping mushrooms. Yeah. So Zelda is gonna check Bomber's tablet. That is the only place around here that he would have. Or the Super Bomb. That was Crystal's 5-6. Yeah, it looks like that. I would check Bomber's first here. Because you don't want to have to come back round for that.
It looks like Zelga's getting the bomb, so...
Have I been playing a Chet Bombers, actually? I don't think so.
Nope. I think we're probably going to see that play come from eLmaGus soon. Bombos and Ether if Maya doesn't pay off.
Yeah, because eLmaGus hasn't gone away from the Maya area since getting the book, so... what you got, Viddy? As we know, Zelga's play here is only going to be 70 rupees just to Butter Sword. I mean, it's alright, but it's
just
not...
the Butter Sword?
Yeah. This isn't V18 where you get Butter Sword straight away. This is... sometimes it was fun. Yeah, it's not a bad item, but it isn't gonna give you your time back from Maya. It's just like getting the sword from Swamp. It's in, you know, like the two together, it's okay, but like it doesn't really give you the time that you've invested in the dungeon. And if that's all that was in there, it's not great.
Well,
you know?
I mean, if you're looking at it this way, if this is a pedestal seed, that gold sword gives quicker dungeon kills.
Yeah,
right, mushroom was nothing.
If this is a pedestal seed, that all changes. But if it turns out pedestal has nothing, then I don't know. I think I would take my chances on just having Master Sword for stuff here.
So let's look at what overworld we have access to now. With the Titansman in hand and the mirror, they can do breadsmiths, hammer pegs, purple chest, also known as the lunchbox. We have all of Death Mountain to do, which I would probably do first. I would have done a while ago. As we see eLmaGus doing right now, checking pedestal, and of course the tablets.
Yeah, so like Dark World Death Mountain is another thing that unless I have both Light and Dark World Death Mountain in one shot, that's another thing I've been trying to not. Then again, yeah, it's not a pedestal seed. Yeah, that is something I have actually been putting off for a bit as well. Because again, trying to minimize the number of trips up the mountain that I have to take, and if I only have like Dark World Death Mountain to do, and I have other things that I can do first to find more items to say Turtle Rock or something, usually I'll try and prioritize otherwise. It doesn't always work out, of course, but this is randomizer. There is no one plan that works out every time. But yeah, oh, just a bomb upgrade there, okay. Yeah, it is looking like the mountain has to be some one here.
So this is good.
Zelda's going straight for it, okay.
So is Zelda. So route divergence is over, and we're, well, for now, depending on what we find here in Death Mountain, this could really shake things up.
I like the way Zelga's doing this. He's going to check the Ether tablet first and walk over, probably look at Turtle Rock from there, unlock Turtle Rock at the time, and that's, yeah, I like the efficacy of this.
What I really like about this too is Zelda choosing not to go into another pendant dungeon.
Yep.
This is gonna kind of bring them closer together because eLmaGus didn't really find anything outside of that gold sword here or in Mire, and we know that the pedestal seed is not, or this is not a pedestal seed, so.
The obvious catch is that Zelda hasn't yet picked up the sword from Bumper Caves, so he is still running on Master at the moment, but you can imagine when Fire Rod is collected, then as you do Skull Woods, Pete off in the sky now. Yeah, when you do Moth play, that is Fire Rod, right?
I think so.
Having to see, I'm pretty sure that was Fire Rod. Yeah, resolution is always a bit less on the restreams than what you guys see, but we're seeing Fire Rod for chat, so that's good. Yeah. Would you make the play into tournaments?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
This late into a seed, an hour 30 in,
Yeah.
you've checked the majority thing, at least from eLmaGus' side. You've checked a lot of different locations. Yeah, I'd absolutely make this Turtle Rock play.
Yeah, so we'll see if Zelda agrees with that in the end. But you can imagine now that with the Fire Rod, as long as he remembers that it was there, you would go and get Tempered Soul before you fight Moth. I think that would be the way around that Zelda's going to do this. Oh, okay.
He's going to Skull Woods, so he's going to get that crystal. So Zelda's going to get the Fire Rod here. Let's see.
You know there's no items left in Skull Woods though, right? Because
yeah, but still, it's still picking up that crystal though. I don't know. I think I'm more inclined to agree with Zelda if he decides to go into Turtle Rock.
Alright, so eLmaGus isn't doing things quite the same order here. Here is where, like, I guess my divergence would have come in, because with my aversion of going up to Dark Lord Death Mountain without being able to at least look at other stuff, I think I would have gone ahead and done what eLmaGus is doing now before going up the mountain. Simply because I want to have as much preparation as I can before going there, just so I don't have to take 4 trips up the mountain to work. So if this turns out to be where the Ice Rod is, it's going to be heartbreaking for Zelda, I think, assuming... looking at the way this is playing out, I wonder if he is actually. But
I'm thinking, as far as both of our players are concerned, I would think that eLmaGus probably thinks that he is behind. He's made 2 pendant plays. One of them paid off. 2 of them did not. Unbeknownst to him, that his opponent has also made the Swamp Palace bet, but skipped out on Mire. Now, this could be the advantage that Zelda needs to gain that advantage over his opponent.
Yeah, so when you think of both Swamp Palace and Misery Mire being pendants that didn't really yield anything, the bug net, nice. When you think of it in that sense, it's like, well, I really have messed up here. I've done 2 pendant dungeons that weren't actually necessary. If my opponent has skipped these, then I am really, really far behind. Yeah, Gold Sword is not going to make up like the more than 12 minutes that those 2 dungeons have taken to do.
Oh man, eLmaGus almost lost the lunchbox.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah, I was mashing the A button. But yeah, all right. So, not too much left.
No, I think if the Ice Rod isn't here, that's pretty much all of the game looked at.
Oh!
And there it is! Okay, so...
This is huge! Okay, so...
Doesn't that mean the Pegasus boots have to be here?
They would, yes.
There's nowhere else in the overworld for it, so... Boots have to be here.
So Zelda in Turtle Rock is going to be in Go mode.
Unless Boots are here right now, and they are not.
Ooh.
Okay.
This is tough.
I think if I've been looking at this right, and I might have missed something, it's even harder when you're not actually playing to remember if everything checked. But I think boots have to be in Turtle Rock.
All right, let me try to think about like where they've been. I know Zelda hasn't done certain dungeons, so if Zelda seeing Ice Rod here thinks that, okay, you know, if I get through here, check everything still, because, you know, but Zelda doesn't know that Desert Palace is boot locked.
No, I thought Zelda, I'm sure Zelda checked, yeah, Zelda checked Desert but didn't go into Maya afterwards. So he knows that it's boot locked, but he hasn't checked he hasn't checked Maya at all, so, you know, there is that. But at this point, because you've got Ice Rod here, you're obviously definitely finishing this. And yeah, if I'm right in thinking on this and there isn't anywhere else, then boots have to be here, and then he knows he's in go mode. So yeah, unless between the two of them there's been, and there they are. Yeah, in Vanilla Big Key is where the boots have been, and there we go. Zelda is in go mode.
Ooh. Well, it looks like eLmaGus is making the play up here, so it's all going to come down to execution. Zelda's having the Master Sword on Trinex versus eLmaGus having Gold Sword.
Yeah, that is going to be pretty big, but yeah, when it comes to crystals and stuff, they are matched at the moment, and I would expect Zelda to do, well, I mean, it doesn't matter which dungeon he does next, but I would expect Zelda to do the, I would expect him to do Skull Woods next, just so we can get Tempered Sword and go from there, because with Silver Arrows or Fire Rod, if you want to use them, it doesn't matter what you do with Landmo, those, that's fine, that's not sword based, but you can just immediately flute there rather than having to use the mirror and then flute back up. You can just flute because it's a light world dungeon. So that would be my sort of logic. Go get the Tempered Sword, get Skullwoods done. It's not much of a divergence from there, and to get the sword. And then the difference between Tempered and Gold Sword at that point is really kind of minimal. So, oh, nice fairy safety too.
Yeah, I think the way that I would do it is after you said like after Turtle Rock, Flute and go to like go to Light World and go to Kakariko.
I would do, go Kakariko, do the Skullwoods play, because then you can get your Tempered Sword for Bumper Cave.
Yeah, I'd almost get the Tempered Sword before Skullwoods.
Yeah,
just to make Mothula faster.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You would flute to the Kakariko spot. You would get the Tempered Sword from Bumper Cave. Go in, finish off Skullwoods, then go out, do Desert, and go from there. That's effectively the same. But really, like functionally, it doesn't matter too much whether or not you do Desert first, because Desert isn't a sword-based boss. As nice first chest on Ladies of there. Good skip too. Yeah, so it really isn't actually too big a deal. That cane dash is something I need to learn. But it looks like he wants a fairy first. I mean, he has a fairy in a bottle, but wants to get the health back here. I do not really blame him too much. You gotta be thinking with not having done all of the pendant stuff, and I think there's even the blacksmiths and stuff, there's a couple of overworld spots that Zelda hasn't checked compared to eLmaGus. You gotta be thinking now, maybe I have a chance at this.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is definitely a huge play. Choosing to go here as opposed to Misery Mire did pay off for Zelda.
So yeah, he might well be thinking, I haven't seen the dot done yet, so maybe there's a chance at this. Oh, gotta get this first though. There we go. This fight is pretty awkward. You don't have I mean, if you've got half magic, the Master Sword is functional for this, but it is kind of frustrating to deal with this fight. I think nerves might be running a little bit high for Zelda here.
Yeah. Plus, it's unfortunate too because let the Ice Head get one of the floors off. So
yeah.
Ice Head's probably gonna get two of the ice floors off. Now, if it's being nice, it's not gonna. Okay, good. I was about to say, if it's being nice, it's not gonna put it in like a really mean location.
At least the ice head does actually take damage from the fire rod, so you can, with half magic, you can spam it a little bit against him. So yeah, a bit of a rough fight, but got through it, that's the main thing. And still has that fairy for later.
Oh yeah. Oh! Oh! Ooh.
Good job.
Close fight. Yeah, Trinex's head is the only one that you take a lot of damage from.
Yeah.
Trinex's head does, in Green Mail, does 4 hearts of damage.
4, I believe, yeah.
And then the body only does 2. So if you're going to get hit by anything on Trinex, get hit by the body.
Yeah. So yeah, this is definitely going to be pretty close. eLmaGus's execution needs to be on point here. Could definitely just come to the GT gamble though.
Yeah,
which side do you go? That is always the eternal question here. Everybody has their own strat for how they do this place now. I love that play from eLmaGus there. Oh
yeah. All I'm going to say on top of that is just Zelga's routing choice to get the Temperate Sword. It looks like we're going to see Master Sword Mothula fight.
No, you've got to go through that portal to get there anyway. So that's the quickest way to get to cave regardless. So it makes sense to go from there.
It's tough to say. I mean, I don't know. I might be, depending on how I feel if I'm behind, I might go straight for Master Sword Mothula and then pick this up, flute up, and go up from there.
I see the problem with that is you've got to come back through half the dungeon then to actually getting hit by the pokey there. The problem with that is you've got to go through the dungeon again, but get the sword first. You go kill Moth and then you mirror flute straight away. If you were going to skip getting the sword until afterwards, you may as well just skip it entirely.
True.
Now, if you didn't have the flute, it would be a different story, but...
Oh, yeah. If I didn't have the flute, this would be a no-brainer. I'd pick it up first. But the flute does give a little bit of, like, just kind of like that what-if kind of a factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, having that butter sword really helps. It's going to allow eLmaGus to catch up.
Yeah, you can see just how big a difference it made to that fight, especially with the struggles that Zelga had getting the fire head down.
Yeah, it's about a full 30 to 45 seconds gain.
At least, yeah.
I almost said a full minute, but I don't think it was that big of a jump.
I don't think it would have been if the hammer wasn't being quite so finicky for Zelga. I think Zelga definitely had a lot of issues with getting hits to actually register, which is something I've always found with that with the hammer as well. That for some reason, whenever I use it on the heads, like half of the hits just don't register. So I end up you're supposed to hit it 5 times with the hammer, but I end up having it about 7 half the time because some of them just don't connect. Why? So eLmaGus, because he doesn't have to pick up the sword here as Desert first. Again, I don't actually think it really mattered either way which way around you did it, but I think you've got the mirror and stuff anyway. So really, it's just a case of which ones you prefer to do first. Even with having to pick up the sword first, you're not going to have more power than Master Sword to get any of the enemies killed in Desert. Not when you've got Fire Rod and Silvers.
Oh yeah.
Great fight from Zelga there. Even though taking a couple of hits off it, all of his hits registered. So that to me is a win. That's a good fight. So all that Zelga has left to do is Desert, and pretty much all that eLmaGus has to do is kill Landmole and then just bust open Moth without having to go to Bumper Cave first. So there was another sort of time differential there.
Yeah, we'll just see. Tempered Sword and Butter don't really make a big difference when it comes to Landmo. We're probably going to see them use Silver Arrow strats anyway.
Yep.
I'd say Zelga has the advantage right now, but
Yeah. Still really close. Like I said, it could be a difference between right side gamble, left side gamble, and G Tower.
Yeah, Zelda is marginally ahead at the moment, but it's all going to come down to the play here, the execution here. This is, pretty pivotal moment here. How well can these players finish this out? Oh, and stuff like that is going to make all the difference, you know, just the minor little mistakes that really add up in the long run. Oh, and missing the cycle at the start here. So, even with Silvers here, an unfortunate free cycle for Landmark. Oh, maybe more! Okay, there we go. Oh, Gold Sword actually making a difference there, because Tempered Sword would have been 4 slashes for that. Man. So, just one more crystal left for both. Where do you think the big key is going to end up then? Since everything else is a foregone conclusion here, where do you think that big key in GT is going to end up? Excellent, everybody's already getting the numbers in. And some letters in there too, very good. I like it, chest Y, we'll go with that. Yeah, some spins there. I guess Zelda missed one of the Lambos too, but not really too much of a problem, as the final crystal has been picked up. Chest number J. I suppose if you treat Ganon's Tower like a puzzle, you definitely solve it for chest Y. That would work.
Well, I mean, we did have some logic earlier today, so it's not surprising we have some math following it.
Right? So Zelda is going to pick up a potion or two here as well. I don't blame him for this. Even with Red Mail, 12 hearts, still a little bit sketchy maybe. Because a lot of stuff does set damage in GT. So, you know, just one heart of damage at a time. Beamo slays with the spikes, so, you know, fireballs can still do a decent amount of damage to you, and it can all add up. I almost died in Tower Ascent in my race yesterday and had to use a red potion the tower gave me for it, so I don't blame him. Do you want that safety? He does have the fairy though, so...
I like it, so that way if Zelda wants to just go like full ham on Ganon, is able to, you know, utilize the cape and just sit there in like phase 2 and just slash through everything, and then not have to worry about, you know, the magic. So we could see phase 1, phase 2 Ganon done really quickly in combination with using this this cape and this blue potion. Yep.
And even at that, this also lets you go super aggressive in Gauntlet Fire Up too, that you don't have to worry about your magic potentially running out for the torch puzzles, because you can just, you know, blitz everything. You do run out of magic somehow, even with half, then you have the potion to back you up. And fire rodding the mini Stalfos is a heck of a lot quicker than just about anything else you can do, especially in the second room. Because unlike most enemies that burn when you hit them with a fire rod, the mini Stalfos just instantly die. So, very, very powerful strat if you've got half magic.
Alright, I'm keeping an eye on the time on entrance. So Zelda entered 49 even, so let's see how far behind eLmaGus is.
It won't be much. Even with the Dead Rocks doing their best, it won't be much.
Yeah, look, chat's predicting about 50 seconds. That's feeling a little bit too much.
Oh my goodness, okay. Instant big key.
Free?
That's amazing. Okay, you do need
Okay.
to go get the one key down here to make sure that you don't get screwed over at the ascent.
Okay, so...
You can even get 2 keys if you want to. Get this one, go get the other one, and this stops you having to kill the mini Helmasaurs at the top. This is pure execution.
Yeah. I was about to say, it doesn't matter to gamble anymore. It's an execution state. It looks like Zelga's got 2 keys. Got one from a torch and then picked one up underneath there, so it doesn't have to kill even the Helmasaurs, can just go straight through.
Chat's pretty much on point. It was about 50 seconds difference between them.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, so how well can you clear the gauntlet here? That is the question.
Man.
So obviously we've all gone through this so many times by now. We've all, played this. We have our own strategies for this stuff. Which rooms in Ganon's Tower give you the toughest time when you play?
Are we talking randomizer or like NMG?
I mean, either really. Which I guess NMG has the fewer resources, so we'll go with that first.
I'd say the third room in the gauntlet can be a little bit mean.
Right.
Having to go to get like take care of the 3 horse heads. Land mode 2, depending on like the setup. Like in randomizer, you have like a plethora of different items, but depending on how you play NMG, if you take any safeties like half magic and stuff like that, you got to be a little bit careful with your fire rod shots. Ice Armos is very, very difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine, because obviously no silvers and no arrow capacity upgrades either, so you got to be careful about how many you use.
But yeah, I mean, G Tower in general is it's dangerous. I mean, even with such a free G Towers for us right now, you can still see a lot of damage kind of going off for our runners.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit of unluckiness here coming from the landmills for Zelda. Gets them down now.
Yeah, if eLmaGus uses silvers, right now eLmaGus is only 2 rooms behind Zelda, which is dangerous. Very dangerous.
Yeah, even though he was at low hearts, I was slightly surprised to see Zelda take the powder there, and then not to wait him a little bit longer, so all of them spawned at once and got the spin attack on all of them. Perfect, eLmaGus there. Very good, definitely made up for the other landmo fight. And look at this, barely any difference at this point. This is coming down to the wire for sure. Could be just a case of that gold sword from eLmaGus is guaranteeing him a 1 cycle on both of the first 2 phases of Ganon. That could make a difference, because Zelga's probably going to have to take a 2 cycle on the first phase of Ganon. That could be pretty big.
This is scary. Still two rooms away from his opponent. eLmaGus catching up with execution. Yeah, Ganon 2, if Zelda misses too much, this is super scary.
Yeah, just gotta go for it. Don't want to waste time getting the health here. He does have a fairy and a blue potion, so health shouldn't really be the biggest concern with Zelda right now. Getting the poke instead here, definitely don't want that.
Oh, super close. You don't actually have to be that close on that edge to see it.
Oh, validation as well. Okay.
Would have been nice if that was a full refill, though.
Yeah, too bad the heart piece at the bottom fill, so already got one for the tower, sadly. But look at this, though. Very, very, very close. So here we go. Start of the Aga 2 fight. That would have been good if you got at the top, but even so, still getting a double. That's pretty good. Oh, this is not a fun one, though. How do you actually deal with that as a pattern?
You have to stand in front of the you have to stand in front of the real one, and then you slash down. Then it's kind of like how you deal with like cold stare. You just gotta knock him into him, and just like hope that you have the right angle.
Okay.
All right.
Down on Zelga's side.
eLmaGus, I think, has one more hit.
Oh no!
Oh, that would have been it.
Wasn't necessary. Oh, okay. Wow.
All right, let's see where the time is.
54:45. Bird. 12 seconds. That's it. That is probably going to be made up just with the 2-cycle phase 1.
Yeah, Butter Sword only needs 6 lashes, Tempered Sword needs 12.
And without getting a double spin somewhere within there, it is impossible to get it. Start here. This is a good spot for him to end up in
nice
phase
double
2,
spin
though.
right there.
Yeah, get the cape just to be sure.
And yep, there's the going ham.
But from here, it's really who gets the silvers off best. That's pretty much the thing.
Oh!
Still gotta be careful. You really can't afford to take that fairy here. That potion could bring things right up. Look at this. Dead on now. That is scary.
This is sync. Zelga's only 1 hit ahead. Oh man.
Oh, it looks like eLmaGus
man,
got the
sync.
edge here.
Oh!
Here we go. Who's
Gets
gonna
the
get
double.
it first?
Oh! Zelga getting the torch glitch. eLmaGus, no! Gets hit by the fire bat, gets knocked back 1.
Oh no!
Zelga missing 1! eLmaGus getting, ooh, only a single there.
Zelda missed it again! No!
There
That's
it is! There it is! Holy booty!
Wow.
eLmaGus at the very end, taking it. Oh, chat is ecstatic.
eLmaGus
What a pull
finishing
through!
with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 40 seconds. Zelda finishing when we get through here.
Yeah, it looks like second place is 18 seconds behind.
Yeah, 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 58 seconds. Wow. Unreal. Okay. That was not how I expected this to go at the end of it all. But it came down to those silvers at the end. The silver hits were unfortunately not in Zelga's favor there, just whiffing a couple of the shots. That's pretty much all it takes. But fantastic play on both sides, really. Zelga's decision not to go to Maya was really key, speeding up the route. And yeah, unbelievable the way this ended up. Fantastic to watch here as we see Sandwich's homecoming. I've not seen that one yet, actually. It feels sometimes like when it comes to Sahasrah's names, there's supposedly like a bazillion of them in there that it can choose from. Sometimes it feels like it only chooses from about 5, but then you get these seeds like this, and you see it's going well, and just yeah, as they say, the execution in the end was really what it came down to, with a big key that 3. The sword by itself didn't make all the difference, but it definitely made enough of a difference with the silver play as well. Really, I think it was just missing some of those silver shots that really cost it.
Yeah, not just that, but the position that Ganon gave eLmaGus versus Zelda.
Yeah, because of being 1 cycle different. One was on the top, one was on the bottom. So, yeah, that just unreal, though. No, as we're saying, there's good debate here in chat. I like this. I would definitely agree as saying that Butter did not make up all the time that was spent in Maya. That is absolutely for sure. There was some good stuff with it, but it, especially when it was done, definitely didn't make up all the difference by itself. Alright, looks like we have eLmaGus in the waiting room, so let's bring him in here. Yo, GG eLmaGus. How are you feeling after that?
I did not think I would win this, to be honest. I don't know. My heart was pumping at the end because there was still no done. I don't know.
Oh, ours was too. I mean, you made the Meyer play, which kind of like you were ahead as far as like item collections and like location checking. And you were, I'd say, at least a good whole dungeon ahead of Zelda.
GG, I guess. How are you feeling after that?
So what ended up happening
I did not think I would win this.
Zelda decided to skip Misery Mire altogether and just went straight into Turtle Rock. Found those last two items that it needed. And I mean, it was go. So like that's where it was like getting sketchy because all that time that you spent in Misery Mire, he caught it back up. And then and you were like at least when it came to G Tower ahead of Zelda. It was insane, just like how the execution happening was of everything, and then you guys actually didn't become 100% synced until Phase 3 Ganon. Those last two items.
Oh man,
it was
really
go.
That's insane. That's absolutely crazy.
Getting sketchy because all that time that
you spent in Misery Mire, I don't know. My thoughts about Turtle Rock. I need 2 items for Go mode. So what are the chances that both those items are in there? I'm like, I gotta go into Mire because it
was insane.
2 items. How are both items there? So I did that, and it turned out both items can be there.
Actually didn't
become
100% synced.
There's that. And yeah, the whole seed, the way it played out, we didn't actually need to do Aga 1, which I realized after Spike Cave. That was a fantastic realization.
Wait, how did you not need to do Aga 1? Because the glove that you need to pull to lift the block in Spike Cave was in the Dark World.
That's right. Okay, never mind.
So
I was just like
that.
I was just like hopping from pod, which I was happy about. Like mirror was not required for dungeons, but like I found the glove there, so that was okay. Felt okay. Swamp was like I got the sword, but that was such a long full clear that I was like, ooh, this is not good. This is absolutely not good. And then I didn't find much else on the left side of Dark World, which relieved me a little bit. But then with the Turtle Rock play at the very end there, I was just like, how can I be ahead at this point? It's not possible. It's not possible. Yeah. So I don't know.
So because we did have some echo issues, there was just not really missing too much at the start of the stuff here, but it's mostly just discussion of when everybody was in sync, and yeah, it's pretty crazy actually seeing that. In the end, as much as it would have been better just not getting it, the Gold Sword did give you that one cycle advantage on Ganon that helped to to resync in the third phase, which is something else. It came down in the end to the Silvers stuff, and I imagine there was probably nerves running highly on both ends, and yeah, because Ganon is scary when you've still not seen that dot done. But definitely terrific play there, and terrific play to you as well, Zelga. Catch you in here as well, or he's gone back to the waiting room. Okay.
Yeah, rejoining probably. Wow.
Yeah, so a couple of annoying last spot checks to stuff. Yeah. Always irritating to see, but that's randomizer for you. Sometimes everything is in the last spot. Both of you were synced until about 40 minutes in. There was only one difference, is that Zelda went to get powder a bit earlier from Gina.
Yeah.
That was really the only difference until after pod, where you went south, he went north. That was the first time in the entire seed that you did something different. So really interesting to see, actually. But
yeah, that's really interesting. I thought I was making some crazy gambles going into pendant pod straight after Aga, but I guess that's exactly how it played out, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about your Turtle Rock play. So based on like the routing that you took, it gave you that opportunity to, when you went up to Death Mountain and then you went into the Hookshot Cave and got yourself the Fire Rod, it gave you just that, like, well, I'm right here, might as well go into Turtle Rock. I mean, the worst case scenario is that you get all the way through it and there's no Ice Rod.
Yeah, that was exactly it. I was thinking, I knew I had to be behind because I had done some really bad things. Like I flooded the key in Swamp Palace.
No.
So I was thinking, okay, I've got to make some sort of a gamble here to try and catch up. And so I just guessed, okay, I've got the Fire Rod from Hookshot. Let's dive into Turtle Rock. As soon as I saw the Ice Rod, I was like, okay, this is going to work. And then to get the boots, I think it was on the Vanilla Big Key.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I was just, I knew that I made up a lot of time right there. I just didn't realize that it was still going to be that close. I still figured I was behind, but still, that was amazing.
Yeah, I mentioned it during the commentary itself, but there's a quick thing. If you ever do accidentally flood the key again, go get the stuff on the left side before you mirror out, so that at least then you don't have to press the switch. You just need to key and go through.
That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I should do that.
It's one of those things you never think about because you never want to be in that position in the first place. But if it ever happens again, that's something to consider. But yeah, you were 50 seconds ahead going into GT, and then it was about 15 seconds difference after Aga 1. There was not a lot in it at that point. As we were saying before, it synced up at Ganon's phase 3, and really came down to the silver arrows at the end. That in terms of just who ultimately won the race, but lots of interesting decision making after when Divergence actually started to happen in the run. That made up a lot of time in places. How bad did it feel with that Master Sword in Bumper Cave? Not being able to get that at the time. Like, how bad did that feel?
That was so terrible. I went there, I tried to pick up the block like 2 times. Oh, yeah. Man. I'm just so used to having glove by then, I didn't even give it a thought.
Yeah, it's very easy to muscle memory a lot of stuff in this. It's especially I've done it a lot of times going into Swamp without the flippers, because I just assume if I have access to that I have the flippers. But a lot of things like that, it really is a case of, I should be able to do this. Why can I not get this? And yeah, it must have been horrible having. At least you managed to come back to it later, but it must have been really horrible to know that there was a sword there that might be the only one that you find during the rest of the run. And I can't get it right now. Come on.
Yeah, I was really happy to see the Master Sword in Swamp, but it ended up being where mitts were literally the last thing I could do. So that was one of those things I just knew I had to be behind from all that. And I figured that going into Swamp, and especially flooding the key, that it ended up just being mostly a waste of time. I'm actually amazed it got as close as it did from the Turtle Rock gamble I made.
Yeah, it turns out mitts being the final possible item was the same for both. So that was painful to see. But by that time, because eLmaGus went south instead of north after pod, I had already done Swamp Palace, already gotten the sword there, gotten the glove off of Haunted Grove Ledge, which was quite fortunate, so that you could then, actually get to Village of Outcast from the north side rather than having to do the whole hookshot route. That was quite nice. And then that, of course, let Tempered Sword be picked up from Bumper Cave straight away. So quite a big offensive advantage for a while. But
yeah. I didn't even want to pick that up until I was in go mode before I picked that back up.
Yeah.
I stopped on my way to Skullwood
yeah,
to pick it.
It was nice getting to that stage.
Yeah, very nice pickup, and it's something I learned a lot about some things I need to practice. Like I basically was making gambles the whole time because, I mean, realistically, I feel that Magus is the better player. So I was trying to make gambles the whole time, and I noticed it as I was playing that I'm just so not used to doing some of the things that I did that I just was making a lot of small mistakes here and there as I kept going.
Right, but that is part of, you know, improving as a player with this stuff. Because then, the more that you do, and the more that you try and do like lower resource stuff, you kind of get used to it a little bit. You're thinking you can push the boundaries a bit more, and stuff like this is very good. You know, doing Master Sword Trinex is not the easiest of things in the world for sure. And you know, always doing stuff like, you know, not in this seed, but Fighter Sword Morph, or even doing it with what was this, Blind as well. There's another one that you did with Fighter Sword only. That isn't always the easiest because of the stumpy range on that sword. So that's how you improve as a player, by going, you know, doing those sorts of gambles, going in earlier. So definitely kudos for that.
Yeah, I learned a lot from this seed and just the experience. So I've got a lot of stuff to practice going forward.
That's good. Alright, I guess any closing thoughts on this one then? Apart from how awesomely close this ended up being.
GG, dude. That was an awesome race. I felt the same as you, by the way. Like, I felt like I made not good choices throughout the seed, and I made a couple mistakes here and there, so it ended up as close as this. It was a lot of fun, though, so thank you for the race, dude. GG. Yeah,
GG's. Thanks again for the race. Good luck in your next match, and shout outs to our commentators, our trackers, our streamers. That's all the behind the scenes work that goes into this is amazing, and I really appreciate the opportunity.
Cheers, man. Good luck to you as well.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here. Alright, anything you want to add to this, Ninnies?
No, I mean, we've already spammed the links in chat to follow the racers, follow the commentators and the tracker, and then just the information about the upcoming races later on. There's still one going on right now over on Speed Gaming 4. There's going to be another one right after that, and the next one coming up on this channel is actually going to be in about 5 hours.
Hi.
So we have a fair amount of races today just to finish this week off before we get to the next round. So stay tuned to Speed Gaming for that.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having us, guys. GG again to both of you here. That was absolute fantastic seeing that at the end. Really, really fun race. And
oh yeah, it's exactly what you wanted to see.
Yeah. I wanted to see something slightly unconventional for V26, having a bit more stuff in the overworld maybe, and I think we got that in this one, so I'm pretty happy. So, yeah, tune in for the races later for sure, and we'll see at the end of today who everybody has in their round Swiss pairings. So, yeah, I've been Gamer Cow.
And I've been Innies.
And thank you again for watching.